Steve, how's that?
Much better.
Oh, good.
Are we all set?
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Lincolnville Select Board meeting. It's November 28, 2022 at 6 o'clock p.m. Do we have a motion after coming out of executive session?
I've got one, yeah. I move that on a 6-month trial basis, we adjust the office hours of the code enforcement officer to Tuesday and Thursday, 5:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., and Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, no discussion. All those in favor?
We need to do a roll call vote.
Wasn't that?
Yeah, you got to do a roll call because you have a remote.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we'll do a roll call vote on this. We have a member participating via Zoom. Josh Garrettson, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray?
Mike Ray, well, I was trying to think of you. Dean Mike Ray.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is your vote?
Yeah, well, myself, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Steve Hand's vote is yes.
Yes, and my vote is yes. Motion passes. This is going to be different.
Do me a favor, hands down.
Okay, first item on the agenda, the citizens forum. Is there a citizens forum is for any non-agenda items? Anybody from the public can go to the podium and speak. We do have people here tonight, which is great, but not seeing anyone rushing to the podium for any non-agenda items. We'll move to the next agenda item, the administrator's report.
Just a reminder for anybody that might qualify for the property tax stabilization program, those applications are due by December 1st. Dog licenses all expire at the end of the year. If your dog or animal pet is in need of a rabies shot, they're offering a rabies clinic on Saturday, December 10th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the fire station. Price is right, it's free. Just have to be a Waldo County resident. If you're a non-resident of Waldo County, there is a small fee associated with that. Bring your pets on a leash or in a pet carrier, please. Follow all instructions. That's all the administrator announcements I have besides the rest of the stuff that's on the agenda.
Thank you, David. Next item on the agenda, meetings and announcements.
All meetings are here at the town office unless announced otherwise. The planning board meeting that's on the agenda is been canceled due to lack of anything on their agenda. Broadband committee, which is not on your agenda, is meeting on Thursday, December 1st, 6 p.m. here at the town office. Lincolnville Central School is meeting Monday, December 5th, 6 p.m. at the Lincolnville Central School. Select board is meeting on Monday, December 5th, 6 p.m. in a workshop session on priorities. Conservation Commission is scheduled to meet Thursday, December 8th, 4 p.m. Recreation Commission scheduled to meet Monday, December 12th, 4 p.m. The Board of Appeals is scheduled to meet Monday, December 12th, 6 p.m. at the fire station. And the Select Board, even though it says Board of Selectmen on the agenda, is scheduled to meet next in regular session on Monday, December 12th, 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much. The next agenda item is upcoming community events. Does anybody have any community events announcements?
This is the weekend of Christmas by the Sea. It's not a town event, but Saturday bonfire, my understanding, gets lit at 3 p.m. at the beach, caroling at 4, Santa arrives via fire truck at 5.
Perfect, definitely a well-attended event.
Oop.
Oh.
And cookies afterwards at the Lincolnville Historical Society.
Perfect, thank you. Next item on the adjustment, meeting minutes, November 14th, 2022.
I move that the board approve the November 14th, 2022 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? This is something. Josh, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike, what's your vote?
Yeah, yes.
Steve, what is your vote?
Abstain.
And I vote yes, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is winter roads maintenance update. I believe we have a representative from Farley's to talk to us about his readiness for our upcoming snowstorm.
We do. As Mr. Farley heads to the podium, I'll tell you that this is Thomas Farley of Farley Inc.
Yes.
They're our winter road maintenance contractor, and I believe he's going to tell you that they're all ready to go, but
We
I don't want
are
to put
ready.
words in his mouth.
We're ready. We've reviewed some close homes that are close to the road, and we've marked those off. We've gone over a bunch of other concerns, and I think we had a good meeting the other day, and we're ready to roll.
Terrific. That's great.
Great.
Any questions for Mr. Farley?
No, yeah, I think anything, yes.
It is our last year.
It's a
I
fifth
believe-
year of a 5-year contract.
Yes.
I believe you had a 3-year contract prior to that.
Yep,
So at some point,
And a good run.
yeah,
the town of Lincolnville will be
putting it out to bid.
Yeah.
figuring out how we're going to handle winters in the future. Maybe we won't have any.
Well, if there's no questions, thank you very much, Tom, for coming out.
welcome.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
See you next year.
Next item on the agenda, Harbor Committee to 2023 Harbor Fee recommendation. I believe we have the chair of the Harbor Committee here.
Yeah, that's me, Nikhil, Chair of the Harbor Committee. We met a couple weeks ago, discussed lengthily how to increase the fees because everything's gone up. And we settled on the cost of living increase for Social Security, which is just a general number of 8.7%, and round up to the nearest dollar, just so there's no cents in the Harbor Committee. And we didn't foresee any big expenses in the future working along in the harbor, anything too drastic, but we did talk over a few things that were talked about at this time last year and in the spring as well. We talked to you guys, we met with you guys and talked to you about adding trash cans down to the harbor.
Yeah.
And I know that a recommendation was made to put a dumpster down there. And the dumpster never got installed down there, nor did the trash cans.
Huh.
But the Harbor Committee stresses that a dumpster is the wrong thing to put down there. It's going to end up with household garbage and bait debris and stuff like that from down in the harbor. So we'd like to stick with our original plan that's on the pier usage map, I guess it would be,
Yeah.
and put the trash cans in and limit the size on the top so you can't drive your whole bag of household garbage in it and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
Because we did have several incidences last year that there was trash everywhere on the pier. And seems like a simple fix for a carpenter to knock those corners out, get a trash can in. And it's been talked about that we don't have anybody to pick up the trash. And so that's also something to think about. And when I'm down there, I'd help out too. I don't want it as a job by any means, but I think there's people that would be willing to help out just to see the place not be a dump. Because people just throw their trash their coffee cups and Red Bull cans and stuff everywhere. But everybody has to come and go by that ramp. So they'd go buy a trash can, they could get rid of it then. And one more thing was we had presented, I believe this spring, I wasn't there, Shane came up and talked to you guys about putting a limit on the number of exactics per harbor user, because there isn't a limit. And you guys talked it over, and it was supposed to be put on the ballot as a change to the harbor ordinance, and it got overlooked and never made it to the ballot, either last spring or this fall. So we'd like to reiterate getting that on the ballot so we can do a change to the harbor ordinance. You already voted on it and stuff, but just refreshing your memory.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. What- For Dave, do we have that language
We do.
there? Okay. And we may have a special town meeting coming up in the future, perhaps. That's something we could easily get back to us for review, then get it on there, the logistics.
Yeah, a definite maybe. I'm not sure about ordinance change, if that requires, off the cuff, Mike, if that requires a public hearing in advance, or if that can be just done at the, but the Harbor Committee reminded me of my faux pas at their last meeting, and we're going to seek to correct it.
Second question, trash cans, are those something we have in storage someplace?
No. Oh, well, we have the trash receptacles that we use at the beach
Yeah.
that Wayne stores for us in the winter.
Okay.
If we're going to add an additional, we'll want to pick the right one that doesn't blow away on that spot, but yeah.
Where did,
No, I was gonna say, so we're ready to get those on the pier? We've got the trash cans on hand?
Well, we don't,
Oh, we don't, okay. That's
unless we steal one from
still.
the other location and put it out there.
Okay.
Probably would look to, if we're gonna go look to do something, industrial in nature that's a little stronger, and as Nick says, with a smaller opening.
Did we do, when that got approved and the money appropriated for that, did we have a specific can in mind?
We talked about putting a small dumpster out there, which
So we're,
didn't show up,
yeah,
but that could be a
Okay.
function of not showing up, because you try to order one mid-year and
yeah, okay, all right, we'll get back on that.
Yeah, the logistics of a dumpster just doesn't
Yeah,
make sense. It
Yeah.
used to be there years ago, and it ended up
Yeah.
being,
People make a
Abused.
route there to dump personal trash, and I get that.
yeah, and there would be some carpentry to put the trash cans there, where we suggested it's minimal. It would be, if you're familiar with like the gangway for passengers, just that small one.
Yeah.
Like knock the corner off on the ramp where the vehicle ramp and that ramp meet. Take the corner off and mount a trash can there on the outside of the handrail or on the inside, whatever, but it would be a small wooden platform. And do the same thing on the opposite side of the vehicle ramp. So no matter how you're exiting the pier, you're walking by a trash can.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. And it's easy to reach from a vehicle. A vehicle can just pull down, grab the bag and dispose of it.
And you also mentioned, the question that I have, actually, Steve, do you have anything on that?
Sorry about that. Mute button is stuck. No, I think the dumpster issue is one that we need to avoid. We have enough people around that we can come up with a solution for a trash can like Nick suggested.
Okay, thank you. The only question I have on any of that is, if there are trash receptacles installed down there, do you really think we need somebody to pick up down there? Is it that much? And is it people using the ferry service? Is it people using the boat to get back and forth to the island? Or is it simply some of your fellow fishermen? I mean, what is it?
I would say the majority of the use is coffee cups in the morning, waiting to go on the Quicksilver and stuff like that. And then we have a lot of garbage that shows up at night, and I'm concerned that none of that would have made it to trash cans, because we have squid fishermen that come down and they travel from all over the state to come down and fish at night on the pier, and they're there at all points. And now that the lights got fixed, like David and Mike Alley really did a great job. Like the pier is very well lit, but that's going to attract more squid, and it's going to attract more fishermen at night, and the trash is going to increase exponentially at night. But I'm not sure that trash will make it to the trash cans, because that's in like anywhere from in our skiffs to on the docks to on the floats, the ramps, and the piers.
Okay.
And if you go down and look, I mean, there's still squid ink all over the docks and stuff down there, which, whatever, that happens. But it would be mostly to deal with the coffee cups. We just get overrun with coffee cups every morning because people finish their coffee and throw it in something, like,
Okay.
or on the ground,
Yeah.
one or the other. That or Red Bull. I guess it depends on the age of the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the trash from the fishermen, there is trash from fishermen down there, but it wouldn't fit in a trash can. I don't know how to address that.
What kind of trash are they
They're
producing?
usually frozen bait boxes, like they're cardboard boxes like this thick
Yeah.
by this, in a plastic bag that's inside it.
Okay.
And some people leave it on the pier. So,
We also get a fair amount of trash periodically from, I believe, Warren Island people camping.
yeah, like, and that's one of the suggestions, as to limit the hole in the top of the trash can. So you're not going to get a household garbage bag like stuff down in.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts, because they don't tend to leave a garbage bag on the pier. It's just they leave
Garbage.
garbage. But I think it would help a lot. And I think in the summer, you would fill the bag every 2 to 3 days per trash can. So having somebody to pick it up, whether we can tie it in with the pickup for the beach or not, or maybe pay one of the local fishermen or something, or whatever, a weekly stipend to pick the garbage up in the summer. I mean, it's an idea. If we're down there, I think somebody should be able to do it. Like, we all go by it every day.
Yeah. But the amount of trash receptacles right there, right now, is not adequate.
Zero.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have anything else?
I don't. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Nick. We've got budgeted a camera to show up there. And I don't know what exactly we'll be looking at, its view. However, assuming one does get put up there, its view is looking at. You think that'll cut down on it, especially with the squid fishermen?
No, but it might let you know who the problems are. We did have some problems this summer with people stealing stuff and messing around on the pier and stuff like that. But it's par for the course. And that camera money's been in there for 3 years.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
And if it was up 3 years ago, it would have saved me some money. I've lost a pallet jack and a bunch of other stuff
Okay.
down there.
Okay.
And we try to use Homeland's cameras because they have great cameras, but it doesn't quite reach the pier correctly.
Okay.
But I think there's some logistics with getting a camera set up there that's a little difficult,
Right.
because we don't have internet or fiber or something down there. But I think they do a lot of stuff through the cell network now, so maybe that's something. If you guys did do a camera, would it be something we can log into, like a live stream?
Well, I'll just speak for myself. I've been hoping that this is a public camera. I mean, almost a way to attract people to Lincolnville, where it would be on our website. View the live stream right now.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. It would be good to be able to see the conditions down there.
Yeah.
And then also maybe it would deter, especially if it's a live stream, maybe it would deter some of the antics in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Or evening, I guess it could be.
We're working on it.
All right.
We still are.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, it's good, yeah.
So, Steve, do you have anything else?
I like that we look at this to see if Steve.
I'm all set.
Okay, thank you. Nick, thank you
All
very
set.
much.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Next item on the agenda, consideration of Heart and Soul Grant Agreement. David, do you have something on that?
Sure. As you have in your packet, we're very fortunate to have received a grant award due to the hard work of Susan and some others on her team. Or should I say Cindy and some others on her team now? Oh, Cindy's in the back row hiding back there. And the grant agreement has been reviewed by the team, been reviewed by the town attorney. Everything seems to be in order, except for somebody to sign it. So if you folks are happy, today's the day, and we'll get going.
Well, I move that the board authorize the town administrator to sign the Community Heart and Soul Grant Agreement between the Orton Family Foundation and the town.
Second.
Moved and
Second.
seconded. Any discussion? Steve, do you have anything?
Nope, I love it.
Want to say good work. Save
Very
the
good
town
work.
a lot of money.
I got one question,
Yeah.
because I'm on that Heart and Soul team, so I'm happy to abstain if the board wants me to. That's the feeling the board requests, whatever you guys want.
Unless you plan on personally profiting from that
I'm
adventure.
looking at that, but I couldn't figure out a way.
You're
So,
not,
yeah.
certainly not required to abstain, but
Okay, good. Then I won't.
I'm all good with that. Steve, what do you think? We all good to let Mike vote on that?
Yes, we are.
Thanks, Steve.
There's no more discussion. All those in favor? No, can't do that. I'm sorry.
nice try.
I'm new at this. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Josh Garrison, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's
Yes.
your vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion passes.
Great.
Very good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dave did a diligent job of setting up the hurdles for us to jump over.
Next item on the agenda, tennis court resurfacing project follow-up.
So last meeting, you had a presentation from the Recreation Commission along with the proposals for the tennis court resurfacing, and asked a couple of questions about some additional work or the need for additional work and how to come up with some money to pay for it because it's more than what we currently had budgeted. So we communicated with the folks from Vermont Tennis Resurfacing because they had been the low proposer. They were of the opinion that a second coat of the primer, I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, resurfacer, was not necessary at our facility. They thought it would be putting a little more good money after something that didn't need to be done. They also said they'd be more than willing to paint the posts at no additional charge to, I don't know if it was in their proposal originally and that's why they agreed to it or not, but they agreed to that without any trouble.
Right.
So if you include the 4 pickleball court lines in their costs, we're $2,491 short. The options that I set forth to the board were do nothing, authorize the use of contingency to fund the shortfall, seek voter approval of the funds at the annual town meeting in June, or seek voter approval of additional funds at the special town meeting. A date to be determined based upon the other things that you've got for other items underneath here. I wouldn't recommend that you use contingency for it. It's not really of an emergency nature. Plus, we've got some other items of dollars, and I think it's better to go right to the schedule a special town meeting, go to the voters and ask them for their money to finish the project versus waiting till June. If we wait till June and ask the same thing, we're not going to get it. Well, I won't say we won't get on next year's list, but the likelihood of it is pretty slim. So I'd like to hopefully get you all to think that special town meeting, as soon as we get one together, transfer some money that we already have. It wouldn't be raising additional taxes or anything like that. And have a series of questions for the voters and get them to come on some night and prove it or consider it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move to have the town administrator prepare a special town meeting warrant for the select board's review at its next meeting, and that the warrant contain an article seeking voter approval to fund the shortfall for the tennis court resurfacing project.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Steve, do you have anything?
I vote yes as we get to vote.
Okay. If there is no discussion.
Yeah, I do, one thing, and this has to do with the timing of the meeting, the special town meeting. It looks as if we need to lock this price in, we need to schedule this within 90 days, is that correct?
90 days of the proposal. I'm thinking if we come with a warrant for your next meeting, and then we'll need to get you folks to finalize your recommendation. We're going to have to pre-schedule a budget committee meeting to get their recommendation, because it does involve the appropriation of money, that we're likely looking at the first week in January-ish.
Okay.
Early January, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So people don't say, you know, you're doing it on Christmas Eve just to.
We beat the 90 days.
Yes.
Yeah, the date's October 21st. We have a question from the audience.
Yep, we're going to get to that next. So if there's no more discussion here, and if the board is okay, we have a member of the audience who would like to make a comment on this agenda item. Steve, are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Hey, you guys are good with that?
Good evening, Greta Galesian, 347 Suesmont Road. I just wanted to address the timing issue, but you've already done it. The proposal date was October 21st, so that would be January 21st.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there is no more discussion, I guess we'll take a roll call vote on this.
Okay.
Josh, what is your vote?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Steve, what is your vote?
Yes.
Okay, and my vote is yes, the motion passes. Perfect, we'll get that scheduled.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda, town office mechanical systems.
Yeah, so earlier this fall, we had a leak in the plumbing in the basement that we had repaired, didn't give it a whole lot of thought, besides leaking. It was the old piece of pipe coming in that went to the pressure tank. And started moving on from that, and then at some point went and looked at the remaining plumbing systems and heating systems and said, oh boy, the plumbing at the hot water tank, which is next to the kitchen or the break room, shows signs of corrosion. And part of our heating system in the basement also showed different but similar signs of corrosion. Had Steve, butcher's last name, Steve from Gartley and Dorsey, who's a mechanical engineer, come look at it because it was beyond our area of expertise. Apparently it's an issue with dissimilar metals, and the copper is being sacrificed and causing the corrosion, which he's recommending the issue be basically the hot water tank and the piping right next to it be replaced, and the air separator with a heating system be replaced, and the expansion tank on that be replaced. And he told us what to use for metals and what to use for the couplings that join the two together. And we're in the process of trying to get some actual pricing on that. He said immediately, we're looking, I'll do municipal speed, as somebody in the room usually likes to say. But once again, we don't have any money sitting aside for that. So where the hope, dream, and aspiration was that if we're gonna have a special town meeting for these other things, that we would have pricing in hand and be able to say, we'd like to replace this as well. Because at some point, it's gonna let go, I think.
Okay, thank you.
And certainly if anyone wanted to stop the meeting now or after the meeting, go actually put your hand on, don't put your hand on it, but see it, we'll gladly take you on a tour.
Yep. Not that I don't believe you, but after the meeting, I'd like to take a look at it just to see.
Yeah.
We know how old this place is, but I'd like to see just exactly
Yeah, sure.
how quickly the corrosion has taken over. Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
Or questions?
I will-
Questions?
I have a question. So
Yep.
Questions for David?
the galvanic corrosion? Is
Yeah.
that what it's called? Does that mean that the original installation used improper metals at the time?
I think they installed what was specified at the time. And so I guess we got what we paid for.
Yeah.
But 8 years later, it's time to do it again.
Things are done differently.
And
Yeah.
I think we were disappointed. I don't know if the leak downstairs in the basement actually was the fact that I believe that was original piping to the old town office.
Okay.
But it triggered us to, go look in some of the nooks and crannies and attic and basement spaces. And then when we saw what we saw, it was like, oh, better get that looked at by somebody that knows what they're talking about, rather than just replacing it in kind and then somebody 8 years from now being faced with the same thing.
So the hope is that whatever we replace these systems with 8 years later. this won't happen again.
As I understand it, as he explained it, when those two metals that are different are in contact with each other, they each have a different electromagnetic charge or whatever the proper buzzword, so they react to each other, and one becomes sacrificial, and so it starts to corrode faster. The other one's stealing something from it. The way the new stuff that Steve laid out is, I don't know if it's got a plastic or rubber break between the two, so it doesn't eat the other one. That makes any sense whatsoever.
It's a
It does.
separation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find this a lot in the industry that I've been in all my life with vehicles, maintenance of vehicles, dissimilar metals, aluminum and steel.
Mhm.
It is just terrible, especially, and I know this isn't common in our cellar here, but all the chemicals that become involved on a day-to-day basis is just, it accelerates the process.
It's strange though, because particularly at the hot water tank, I won't say I'm in there frequently, but at least once a month, it's in the janitor's closet in the break room, and nothing, and then all of a sudden it's gone green and white, and it's like, ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Steve, do you have anything? Do you have any questions for David?
I do not.
Now, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to have the town administrator prepare a special town meeting warrant for the select board's review at its next meeting, and that the warrant contain an article seeking voter approval to fund the necessary repairs to the town office water supply system and heating system.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Steve? Any discussion?
Vote yes. No.
Yes, no?
Okay, we'll go with a roll call vote here.
No discussion. No discussion.
Josh Garrison, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's
Yes,
your vote?
yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
My vote is yes, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda item number 12, Breezemere Park float maintenance.
So we've removed or had removed the floats at Breezemere Park, the ones that are in Norton Pond and have been for a number of years. A couple of those need some attention. They're suffering, some of the wood is suffering from rot, and that makes the screws come out, which makes the panels not connected to anything. And it needs some maintenance and upkeep, of which we have, once again, no money. So we're in the process of trying to figure out what it needs for parts and pieces and price that. And once again, hoping that perhaps we'll ask the voters to fund that so that it'll be ready to go come spring.
Okay, are there any questions for David on that?
I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but I just want to confirm those have encapsulated flotation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's important to, just to mention this, that it's not a complete replacement because there's a fair amount of aluminum superstructure in those, but there is wood to all of them. And it's pieces of that. I went down and viewed that this weekend. And it is, there's a fair amount of wood in all of them.
It's not just the decking, it's.
No.
Now, the decking actually is composite material
Okay.
that's screwed down into the wood.
Okay.
And it seems as though the worst spot is right off with people come up the swim ladder onto the float, so it's getting wet, dry, and they're in the wood itself is, I mean, maybe in a windy, rainy situation might be in the water, but most of the float is the encapsulated barrels are in the water and hold the wood up out of the water. But that certainly the spot right up where you come off the swim ladder it's done.
Okay.
Steve, are you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay. I would entertain a motion then.
Well, I move to have the town administrator prepare a special town meeting warrant for the select board's review at its next meeting, and that the warrant contain an article seeking voter approval to fund the necessary repairs to the Breezemere Park floats.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Okay, we'll go to a roll call vote. Josh Garrison, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion passes. Next item on tonight's agenda item number 13, Rule Level 2 EV Charger Funding Opportunity. Josh, you want to talk to us about that?
Yes, I do. So Efficiency Maine has a grant opportunity for installing level 2 EV chargers in rural areas of Maine, which is basically most of Maine, as long as it's not, I think, Cumberland County and York County. So Lincolnville applies to that. As far as I know, we currently have EV chargers. We have 2 at the Lincolnville General Store, and I believe those are the only publicly available chargers in the town. So if you look through here, what's really exciting is that the grant covers 80% of the total eligible project costs to a maximum of $7,000 per level 2 plug for projects at a local government-owned facility. And if they are networked, it's an additional $2,000 per charger. That's my understanding of this. So that would be 80% of eligible costs up to $9,000 per plug. I think at the very least we should apply for installing 2 EV chargers at the beach. I don't think the town office makes any sense because people aren't here really long enough to benefit. Prospect Park is, I think it's too new to really know if it makes sense to have it there, maybe in the future. But the beach, people are there, I'd say, for, half an hour, maybe longer. And I would recommend we do network chargers. That way we get a much higher amount of money covered, and we can also charge for the electricity. Because if we didn't charge for it, I kind of go back and forth on having it be a free charger versus not. But if they were used constantly, then we could be on the hook for hundreds or thousands of dollars in charging fees. But if it's networked, then it can be a credit card, or they would be part of that charging program. It would appear on a map. People would know Lincolnville has these chargers. They would see that it's live when it is. If it's down, the app or program would show that. And there's only more EVs going on the road. So I think it's a no-brainer because so much of the costs are being covered. And I'll just speak from experience. I've had EV chargers for 9 years, and I haven't had any issues with them at all. It's really just completing a electrical circuit. And my assumption is that we would be able to actually pick the price that we charge and perhaps even make money off of the chargers.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I think it's one of those things that makes sense. And the idea that it encourages tourism to commerce, if it's situated at the beach, it only helps the businesses out there, and it could be a revenue thing for the town, could generate revenue for the town as well. Gives Lincolnville a little name recognition, branding or something out there. But I did a little quick Google research on the price of these things, and the average cost for public 2-port price is around $5,500 in yesterday's Google timeline. Yeah. So now let's make it 65, I guess. And so if the town would be on the hook for $1,300 of the initial installation, and I didn't get anything on the maintenance, the 5-year maintenance, how much that would cost.
Maintenance is covered as well, I believe, with the grant.
I did not know that. I was under the impression that the town was on the hook for the maintenance.
And it says that.
I read that.
Yeah.
And it says that it's per plug. So that price that you mentioned, that's for two chargers.
So yes, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
that's a 2-port. Yeah.
So my read is per level 2 plug. So my read is we would actually have $18,000 to cover that cost.
I think it's.
But we can get clarification.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking into, and having that information, and then getting it to the board in preparation for a town meeting article, so the people have a chance to weigh in on this.
Steve, do you have anything on that?
I'm for finding a location, adding the EV chargers. I'm not sure we know all the details right this moment. It sounds like we still need to do a little bit of homework to find out what's covered, what's not covered. I heard conflicting statements just in the last few minutes, and what I've read myself, I left with a lack of clarity. So I'd like to move forward in some way, but I feel we need to get a little bit more clarity in this whole thing.
Okay, thank you. I too have that same opinion. I feel that there's a fair amount of information there that we need clarification on. The other thing is I I wholeheartedly agree that this is a really good thing for the town. Yeah, and especially for bringing people into town.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
but the biggest problem that I see right now is we're struggling for areas in Lincolnville Beach. Summertime, all summer long. And we've got people fighting for spots down there, refusing to pay parking tickets, things of that nature. We're gonna take 2 spots right away when we don't even have spots to give. So I think we need to do a little bit more research on that and see if there's a business down there that wants to partner with that. We've got one here in the center that went ahead and did that, and it's a great idea, and I think it's a good idea for the town, but I think we need more information on that. I think we need to really agree as to where we're gonna put it.
That's huge. That's so important.
It is
right,
just
like-
so huge down there. But I think you're right. I think it brings people to town. People can go on to a website and find, oh, Lincolnville's got this. I can go from here to here and not work, and I can charge. I get that. But I think right now, to put this before the voters, we don't have the information that we need. So I think, I'd entertain a motion, which I think we've covered that one in the second motion, haven't we?
What's your question?
I think we can cover that by having this motion right here.
I think, I agree, we're asking the town administrator staff to get with the town attorney.
We lost Steve.
Bye, Steve.
All right, well, if he comes back, I'll.
David, is that gonna get us the information we need by going with that motion?
Well, there's a series of motions there,
Yeah.
and I think we'll get to the information you need, just so, I mean, once again, we just want to know that this is jumping the line at the other, because there is a deadline associated with this, January
23?
17th.
Okay.
So it does need to jump the line if we're going to get an application in by January 17th.
Right.
So that just, we're only human, we're only working on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that series of motions, I mean, is really to kind of say, hey, this is important. We want to get this to the, to the deadline. And that's kind of why those motions are set out that way, if you want to do that. We just didn't want to spend an awful lot of time figuring out, who to install it, get a quote, some of the things they asked for in the grant.
Yeah.
And then have you guys be like, why'd you waste time? Not waste time, but why'd you spend time doing that when we wanted you to spend time doing a heart and soul grant application or whatever?
Yeah. I do want to point out a few things. In the, Steve's back. I want to just quote this correctly. In the Efficiency Maine Electric Vehicle Initiative's Funding Opportunity Notice, page the bottom of 6, eligible costs. So they lay out charging equipment, installation and commissioning of charging equipment, networking subscription cost for the first 5 years of operation. Networking subscription costs must be billed and will be reimbursed only if they have been paid as a single upfront lump sum cost. Electrical service upgrades and or circuits, mounting hardware, construction costs essential to the installation of chargers, extended warranties or maintenance contracts for a period not to exceed 5 years when billed and paid as a single upfront lump sum cost. So we know for a fact those are covered.
Right.
But it looks like we need to appropriate money, pay for it all, and then we gotta bill them. It says, and will be reimbursed only if they have been paid as a single upfront lump sum cost.
Yeah, so, right, so there's that addendum for network subscription costs and the extended warranties. Not for the actual.
We're certainly not the first community that's contemplating this. And so I think if we can get in touch with, the right vendors, because they all know the rules of the game, because this is all public information. They're probably well set up to give us a quote, somebody, whoever the right vendor is, but we haven't even turned a stone on that, but.
Okay.
Well, I'm all for getting in line, doing the research and getting in line. And if there's a couple unanswered questions like parking, who might, if anybody might take on that parking, or if the town is suddenly without 2 parking things, I think we can deal with them once the application is in. We've met the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, you do.
The parking thing is a larger problem, actually.
Right. You do have to identify where it's going to be, but
Yeah, no.
I mean, these are details that can be overcome if you want us to
I think so.
invest the time and effort into exploring.
Steve, do you have anything else on that?
No, again, I feel we need to, this is something that's a good idea and we should pursue it. And I missed a little bit of the discussion as my power dropped out and rejoined, but if David's comfortable with the legwork that needs to be done to move forward in some way, this is something I'd like to see us do.
Yeah, this isn't, certainly the series of suggested motions you
Take
have
the
there.
next left onto East Cook Avenue, then turn right onto the I-20.
Thank you, Siri. This isn't necessarily a make or break decision you make tonight.
Yeah.
This is, you do this, it comes back to us, we look at it and say, you know, you may hear from some public saying, do not take
Right.
any space or this space or that space. Or it may come in at $100,000 and we could get, you know, $10,000 of grant money, and you'd say, well, we don't want to spend 90 or ask the voters for 90. There are some off ramps to Steel Series thing there between here and when you would put it forward to voters. But if we don't get started, we're not going to get there. I'll tell you that right now.
So at this point, what do you need from us? Just some direction to start the ball rolling?
My suggestion is that the board consider those 3 suggested motions, and if they pass, then we'll get going. If they don't pass, we'll get going on something else. We'll keep going on something else. And I'd be happy to explain those if you think you need more explanation.
Well, David, the way I see these motions, all 3 are necessary to get the ball rolling.
I believe they're all necessary and appropriate to
Yes.
keep the thing
Right,
moving.
we're looking at 3 down
If that's
okay.
the board's policy choice to move forward with a grant application that would be due by January 17th,
Okay.
we better start the wheels of motion going.
Gotcha.
I would entertain a first motion.
I move that the town administrator seek legal counsel regarding what town meeting approval, if any, is necessary should the board decide to seek a grant that would bind the town to possible future expenses for the installation, operation, and maintenance of a town-owned electric vehicle charging station via the Efficiency Main Grant Program.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Steve?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll go to a roll call vote. Josh Garrettson, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes, the motion passes. I'll entertain the second motion.
I move to have staff prepare a cost estimate for the installation of a networked electric vehicle charging station to be located at or near Lincolnville Beach.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Steve, you all set?
All set.
Okay, no further discussion. We'll go to a roll call vote. Josh Garrettson, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes, the motion passes. I'll entertain the third and final motion.
I move to have the town administrator prepare a special town meeting warrant for the select board's review at its next meeting, and that the warrant contain an article seeking voter approval to apply for and accept a grant from Efficiency Maine for the installation, operation, and maintenance of an electrical vehicle charging station.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None here?
No.
Steve, you're all set? Okay.
All
No
set.
dis- No discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote. Josh Garrettson, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Yes. Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes, the motion passes. Thank you,
Great.
David, for explaining that.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item number 14, discussion of possible recognition of former road commissioner.
Yeah,
Mike.
I asked that this get on the agenda simply because I think it's appropriate that we do something to recognize Bernard Young's contributions to the town. And we have a little discussion about what the best thing to do, if we do want to do anything, might be. I mean, I got some ideas, but
What are your ideas?
oh, well, I mean, I heard, not from me, this is actually Lately's idea, but salt and sand, the yard there becomes the Bernard Young Memorial Salt and Sand Shed, with a sign or something to that effect.
Okay.
There's also, I guess, the possibility, or in addition, or it would be an honorific from the state legislature. Get that into our state representative, or Paige Ziegler or Senator Curry, I don't know which, and maybe that might happen. I think the wheels move even more slowly in Augusta than they do here, though. So I don't know when it would happen.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Josh, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think we should do both of those. I'm not sure about Bernard Young Memorial Salt and Sand, but
I don't know.
Bernard Young
Thank you, yeah.
Salt and Sand Shed.
Thanks.
I think that's very fitting.
Steve, do you have any comments on that item?
I agree with both items, and definitely that it's Bernard Young, not Memorial, Bernard Young.
Yeah, sorry.
And my opinion on that is, yes, by all means. I know the town report has been dedicated to Bernard over the years, and he's had a lot of praise from a lot of people in the town here, but I feel that a landmark recognition type of thing would definitely be appropriate to thank him and his family. It's something that they can see from time to time, and everybody can remember how much he actually did for the town.
Yeah.
Whether it be a plaque, whether it be renaming of our pit over here for the town, or just the salt sand building, or what have you. I think it's the right thing to do. He dedicated his life to this town for many, many years, and I think it's the very least we can do.
Yeah.
So I think we should move that along and maybe discuss that at a future, maybe work party or meeting, so that we can get the right
Maybe
thing.
we can take the concept and get some, for lack of a better word, designs or whatever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And perhaps one of you would like to pick someone to speak with Representative Ziegler or State Senator Curry about
I'll
that.
do that and see what the timing is and what's involved there.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
That would be great. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, next item on the agenda, discussion regarding Mid-Coast Council of Governments. Mike?
Yeah, yeah, I just recently been looking into this outfit and had a conversation with Dave about it and its history. And I'm on the Conservation Commission, and Conservation Commission had one of their staff members speak to us about some of the initiatives that would be perhaps appropriate for the Conservation Commission to look at. And what I was hoping we could talk about is simply to ask David to invite one of their representatives to come to a future board meeting and explain what they do, their services. They provide regional planning and facilitation of local issues, as it were. Like right now, they're down in Thomaston, trying to facilitate the conversation that the town folks are having about the green down there. And so they do that, but they also provide, as I said, planning advice, working on comprehensive plans. And the Conservation Commission, for example, they provide assistance in coming up with a plan that might qualify for a grant for community resiliency in the face of climate change. Anyway, it seems to me as there could be some good opportunities, especially in the area of grants, knowing what funds are available out there. They're also the kind of like that watchdog. And turns out that Lincolnville is in their jurisdiction, as it were. They start down in Brunswick and go as far north as Lincolnville, maybe to Searsmont. So anyway, just didn't know if the board wanted to ask David to ask them to come and explain themselves.
Certainly, it seems to me, it certainly wouldn't hurt to listen.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a nod in the heads here. Steve, I can't see you nodding your head, but what do you think about that?
My head is nodding. I definitely feel we should invite them. I mean, there's a few different topics that we've talked about over the last few months. One of them being affordable housing, where I feel being part of a bigger story and a bigger landscape may be helpful for us to learn and make some decisions in the future. So I would definitely like to have them come talk to us.
Sure. Well, I think we should probably see if David can get them to come to a meeting.
Yeah. And you know who to call?
I do.
Okay.
I'm onto it.
Great.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda, request to track staff time and expenses associated with LD 290, which is a
Thank you.
property tax
Don't forget your hat.
stabilization.
Good night, thank you.
Thank
Jack,
you for staying.
Jack, you left her hat.
Oh.
You left it. It's a nice hat, though. I wouldn't mind if you did leave that hat there.
Mike, this one is for you.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned last meeting, one of the focuses of the Maine Municipal Association lobbying efforts this year will be for clarification on LD 290, the property tax stabilization thing. And what they are most likely to ask, they haven't formally asked yet, is for municipalities to provide them with an accounting of staff time and monies that have gone into processing the application so far, because they'd like some sort of empirical backing for whatever arguments they make in the legislature. And they haven't asked us officially yet. And I don't know if an official ask comes or not, but I'll find that out. But I would like to see if we, once again, would be willing to ask David to start compiling that information, or at least putting the papers in one pile, so that if we do get asked, it's easier for staff to come up with those numbers.
What do you think, David?
David, what do you think of that?
Just for a little background and history, as of today, we have 267 applications that have been returned to us for the program. Certainly isn't time-consuming or problematic going forward. It would have to be an estimate on what we've done to date, because we don't usually track.
I bet you estimates are great, especially in terms of rhetoric.
Yeah.
our group.
I know that several people in the office, one of which is across the table from me and one of which is probably at home relaxing, have spent days entering data into a spreadsheet, because we've created a spreadsheet so we can figure out if people are actually eligible or ineligible, or what they need to do more to be eligible. So, yeah, we can, it's a matter of minutes worth of effort looking backwards and estimating, and then pretty negligible moving forward. It'll just be, if you're doing something, pay attention and track it moving forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be wasting your time taking that minute, because I'm pretty sure they're going to ask for that information.
Yeah.
From towns.
Steve, do you have anything on that?
Whoops. Nope, I feel it's a good ask and probably something we're gonna have to provide anyways.
And so if we get ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And just start getting used to tracking that type of stuff. All right. David, do you need a formal ask on that?
Not really, unless you think it's necessary, we can just.
We don't.
But if you want to create a motion, feel free.
Okay, next item on the agenda, broadband update. Josh.
Yeah, so we had a broadband meeting 2 weeks ago. It went very well. We're still working with Susan Corbett on finessing the digital equity plan. One thing that was exciting is in the meeting, I looked at LCI's website, and now if you're signing up for their fiber in Lincolnville, it's a $100 installation fee for, let's see, there's no contract, I believe. There's no phone requirement, and it's now 100 over 100 for $89.95. So that's a new thing that if you go on their website and sign a new contract, that's on there. So we thought that was exciting. Those are having symmetrical speed, not having the phone line, not having a 3-year contract. These are things that on the broadband committee we've heard complaints about, and so now, at least for a new contract, those are addressed.
Sure.
So that's great. I'm not sure when our charge expires. We still need to have an updated charge, I believe. That ends December 27th, so we can complete the work. But we're making a lot of progress on the plan, and we'll have it ready by December 27th to present. And we'll have a final version of the feasibility study with no mistakes in it.
Steve, do you have anything to add?
No, that Josh did a good synopsis. The best thing for me is that it seems like the group is very excited right now with what's coming out of the digital equity and digital inclusion plan. And there's definitely interest in the group to have a continued charge to help with the implementation of the plan in the coming year.
Oh, and I do want to add that we do have an opening now on the broadband committee. I mean, the work is starting to wrap up, but if there's someone that really wanted to jump in for the last month, we'd be happy to have another member. Someone from the town wants to put in a community interest form. It's not too late.
It's never too late.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, select person updates. Josh, do you have any updates?
Well, the only one I have is I attended a Mayfield Solid Waste thank you lunch for the employees and the volunteers.
How did that go?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's such a sense of camaraderie there with the employees and with the volunteers at the swap shop. And the food was excellent. It was barbecue. So it's just really nice to see that they're really pulling in the same direction now.
That's good. I did not get a chance to go over to attend that lunch, but it's good that we were represented there. That's good.
Yeah.
Were the other towns represented?
Camden, That might be the only, I can't think of anyone from Rockport or Hope there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right. Selectman Ray,
I can't think of anything.
all set?
Yeah.
Selectman Hand, do you have any updates?
I do not.
Okay, thank you, and I don't have any. I obviously said I didn't attend the Midco Solid Waste luncheon. Wish I had, but it didn't fit into my schedule, so that's all I've got. Next item on the agenda, treasurers and payroll warrants. Approve and sign.
Well, I move that the board approve and sign the treasurer's and payroll warrants.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Want to give him one?
Any discussion? No discussion? We'll move to a roll call vote. Josh Garrettson, what is your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
My vote is yes, the motion passes. Is there anything else anybody has before we have a final motion? David, are you good?
I've got a fuller to-do list than I did an hour ago, so yes, I'm good.
Steve, you all set?
I'm good.
I'll entertain a final motion.
I move to
I
adjourn.
move that we adjourn.
Go ahead.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. We'll move to a roll call vote again. Josh Garrettson, what's your vote?
Yes.
Mike Ray, what's your vote?
Yes.
Steve Hand, what's your vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. We have adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you.